Hello everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. Hope you're all having an amazing day. We're starting off with the white pieces against an 1833 from Indonesia. I'm feeling a knight f3 today. We'll see what we get against that. With a perk invitational, apparently. What that means, I'm not quite sure. Let us... Good d4? I guess. I don't know. This could potentially go into some sort of King's Indian, which would be cool to play as white, I guess. I don't think I've ever really played it as white. This is something new altogether. I didn't know was even a thing. We've now gone into the Queen's Pawn opening. Apparently the Wade defense. No clue. Let's go c4. Let's go c4. It's the usual sort of d4 move. And we'll go ahead with... It's a tough decision, this. It's a very tough decision. G takes is probably the better move. E takes gives interesting possibilities, I think. But opening up the file for the rook on the kingside attack is probably the better choice, I believe. With a very easy h4, h5 push, we will probably develop this bishop. No, we'll develop our knight. We will develop our knight. Okay, and I think here an e3 is in order. We'll play a bishop d2. We'll play potentially a queen c2, go for this push, and castle kingside maybe even. Where this light squared bishop wants to go, I'm not quite sure. Let's play a h5 and potentially get it to h3. That's a nice looking diagonal for it. E4, to be honest, was not that bad a move. I might have been overestimating or underestimating that. F4, F5 is not a bad move either, especially with a bishop h3. That would definitely open things up. But then we're cutting off the rook support to h5, so I'm not sure. Maybe just a bishop d3 is the right play. I'm not sure what their plan is with their pawns. They go for d5. And I think d5 we honestly want to go c5 potentially. Sort of lock up the center and just go all out kingside. We've even potentially got an e4 break. Or we could go takes, knight takes e4, knight takes, pawn takes. Very solid center. Took the king on e2, potentially. Okay. Either that or we just ignore it. Is an option as well. e4 off the bat's not horrible. I think maybe just... Oh, takes is tempting. No, we want to keep control of d4, surely. We want to keep control of d4. Maybe even a queen c2 is a play. Yeah, queen c2. We'll take. And then we've got the bishop potentially pinning this pawn, and then the queen on the g pawn as well. So h5 is looking tasty. We want to even play a king e2 would be nice. E4 is still on the table potentially, especially if we get this rook to d1. They've gone for that. Strange. I think just a bishop b3 is cool. We'll play a4 if they go a5. This knight's happy coming over there. They've castled now, so I think this could be the time to go for it. There, knight takes, rook takes is a potential play. King e2 is a potential play. Long castles is a very viable play. We'll play the bishop e2. D2, sorry. They've not gone for c5, which is what I would be doing if I was them. Knight e4 is a viable play as well. With queen takes, and then we're just busting this open. King e2, I think, might be actually the way to go. get this rook on g1, and this is a devastating attack. I mean, even ignore that, to be honest. Just h5. h5 takes, queen takes is horrible. Just ignore it. Just ignore. We could even... Okay, so we go a4 here. We could take even. Takes, rook takes is mating, no? Very close to mate, anyway. Takes. Takes. A4. Rook takes. Rook takes, 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 king takes. Check. There's no more pin. We're gonna have to go a4, unfortunately. It's a bit slow. And then we'll do, I don't want to do a rook takes either. Maybe even a knight takes is a play. Put the knight on c5 would be beautiful. We no longer have this pin with this knight there as well. That's something I need to remember. But rook g1 is devastating. Oh, they've gone for knight takes, which is good for us, right? Pawn takes. This king, while it looks ugly, it's perfectly safe, I believe. There's no light squared bishop. They could potentially get their queen to a6. But then, like, c4 could work. Oh, I mean, takes has got to be there now, right? It's got to be. Takes. I mean, pawn takes, queen takes is devastating. Takes, knight somewhere there. Takes. No, rook takes. Rook takes. Oh, I mean, it's got to be takes. It's got to be takes. They can't take that way. They go for that? No chance. No, sorry. I mean, pawn takes is my first thought. Pawn takes checkmate, surely. Mate. That was good. That was good. I enjoyed that. That was nice. I very much enjoyed that. That's got to be a pretty high accuracy. It was an awkward one, but it's got to be like up there. It's got to be. 84.5. Not the worst, but for like a dubious attacking game, and that was dubious, I think that's a pretty good one. They got 60.4, we got 84.5, we got 2150, they got 1300. Ew, yikes. No blunders, a couple misses, one mistake. Inaccuracies are fine. So we went knight f3, and they went into this sort of perk. I'm not sure why they played the perk. I think it's actually pronounced Purts, which is weird, but I'll keep saying perk. Usually if you play the perk, you want to play some sort of modern King's Indian setup with a fianchetto. I'm not sure why they did what they did. It's strange to me. But we played c4. And then g takes is the book move as well, which is brilliant. And I thought this is just nice for us. Obviously, it's not winning. Like, you just trade off a piece. But I like it because you have clear attacking plans. Because they're less likely to castle queenside. They still can. Don't get me wrong. They still very much can. But because I've played c4, I've got the immediate breaks. So you're probably going to castle kingside. Yeah. And then f4 here's the move, which is wild. Looking for maybe the immediate f5, which would be very nice indeed. That's a very cool idea, actually. I like that a lot. A6, bit of a waste of a move. This knight barely got developed at all. We go with h4. Yeah, perfect. Bishop d3. Yeah, I can see the argument for bishop e2. Especially if you manage to get f4 in. Looking immediately for the break is smart. And the bishop ended up over here anyway. So there's not much difference between these two squares. d4. Apparently you just take. Apparently that's a big mistake, actually. Plus 1.4 here. Sorry, d5. because he takes knight to, and apparently the computer just likes this. Don't ask me why. I guess it's development. You've got the open files. You've got a potential attack going on. I guess it's just a positional thing. It's probably going to be knight takes, right? No? Bishop e4? Knight takes is 4th best move. Still good. Bishop e4 is apparently best. Oh, looking for this pin. That's quite nice. But then surely takes and just like a c6 works. Just c6 straight away. Fez. Anyway, queen c2 is a miss just for that pin. We take, and I'm happy with the bishop there. I think it's, I prefer the bishop on this diagonal personally rather than this diagonal. These structures with the fianchetto are very hard to actually attack. It looks like you've got lots of hooks, but especially with this knight on f6, like it covers a lot of the breaks, which is annoying, which is why probably f4 is the better one, because the knight can't cover this f5 square. But this bishop, it's just making tactics with this pin. Once the king's castled, it's just making tactics basically, which is just very nice. b5 is probably, yeah, the computer doesn't like it. It's not horrible either, but it's not really stopping my bishop going anywhere. Apparently the bishop goes back to e2, which is wild again. bd2, I just wanted to get this other rook in the game basically, and apparently h5 immediately here is best, which is cool to see. Knight takes, rook takes, and then king e2. So king e2 is the right idea, just with the wrong timing. Because we allowed knight d5. That's actually, no, knight d5 is a miss. Because of h5. h5. You're just giving us h5. Apparently you take with the bishop here as well. I can sort of see that. But it looks like you might just be getting kicked around. But then I guess if they go for b4, they have this really awkward pawn here. And if the kingside attack doesn't work out, that's going to be an inherent weakness in the end game, which makes a bit of sense. And then we just dominate here. Knight there. They were better off taking. So this is +2 here. So this is very good for us. But then this goes up to +5. And here we go bishop c4. So you don't even bother with the pawn. You keep the pressure on the pin. d5, e6, sorry, stops the pin, and then you just double up. Oh, and then the bishop to d3, which is why you go upwards as well. Oh, secondary idea, very nice. Sack the bishop, and this is scary, to say the least. I wonder what the continuation is here. I mean, check's not an idea, really. Check, king up. I don't know. What's the computer saying? Queen h5 even. Queen h5? King f8? What's the threat? Oh, wait, what is the threat? Oh, check. Sorry. Check. There. Takes. Queen takes? No. Say then waste a move. What's the threat? E4's the threat? What? E4, rook e7, bg5. Let's say they waste another move. E5, I guess. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And then you've got mating threats because you're blocking off the escape square. That makes a lot of sense. And then this rook's hanging, I guess, as well. Is another idea. E5 still. Not quite mating this time. Queen h7. Yeah, you pile on the pins, usual stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just... I mean, the bishop move there is wild. I'm not sure what they were thinking with that. It's just mate. I mean, not much else to say. Knight f6 seems like the obvious. Like, that's the reason why you move the knight here. At which point, g takes, and then rook takes. b6. Whoa, what? Is there anything else? Rook ag1 seems like an obvious choice. Oh, and then e6, but then bishop takes anyway. E4. 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 Bishop takes. A takes B. Rook G3. That's not a thing you can do. I'm so confused. I think chess.com's confused as well. Yeah, if not, then that's got to be mating, right? Rook takes H7, yeah. Knight takes. It's a mate. What is that? A mate in 8? Oh. Mate in 8. Rook takes H7. Knight takes H7. If king takes, that's just mating. Actually, no, you can't do king takes, obviously, because the queen's there. Rook H1 is the idea. Bishop H6, you're just blocking. Rook takes. Rook takes F7. Bishop takes F7. So it's a lot of blocking moves. Queen G8. Bishop takes G8. King takes G8. Queen G6. King F8. Rook takes. And the king's trapped here anyway. So it's just mate on H8 or... Yeah, you can't even go there. Yeah, basically. It's more blocking than anything fancy. But we were looking at the rook sacks anyway. Yeah, quite a nice little game there. I enjoyed that. I don't know what the theory actually is about this Wade defense. C4's apparently the move. E4's also a move. I don't like the double pawn push. I always try to go for a side pawn rather than the double central. I feel like I like something on the third just to make a little pawn chain. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's probably not the positional way to play. The computer will probably appreciate the double pawns in the center, but I'm not a computer. I'm pretty sure we all know that I'm not a computer by now. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe if you really liked, and I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye bye.